Robert Kiyosaki. You may have heard of him. He wrote a very important book. It is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book is a global bestseller, you know. It has truly changed how millions of people think about money. It is not just some story, it is a powerful wake-up call for your finances. It challenges all those old traditional ideas about jobs and how to build wealth. Many people here in India have read it too, and it has opened their eyes. This book will make you question everything you thought you knew. It clearly shows you that there is another way, a smarter way, to manage your money. Are you ready to question your long-held beliefs about how money really works in this world? This book offers a brand new perspective. It provides a fresh, clear way to look at your personal finances. It is high time you opened your mind to these ideas, alright? Kiyosaki shares his personal story about his two influential fathers. One was his biological father, whom he calls his poor dad. Now, poor dad was a highly educated man. He had a PhD degree and held a good, stable government job, yet despite his qualifications and hard work, he always seemed to struggle with money matters. Then, there was his rich dad. This was not his biological father but his best friend's father. Rich dad was quite the opposite in terms of formal education. He didn't even finish the 8th grade. But, and this is a big but, he became an incredibly wealthy man by being street smart. He achieved this by building successful businesses and investing his money wisely. These two very different men taught young Robert very different lessons. These were profound lessons about money, about life, and about the crucial choices we all make. One dad diligently followed the conventional rules while the other dad created his own rules for success. The difference in the financial advice they offered was simply huge, truly massive. Poor dad always used to say, "Go to school, study hard." He would advise, "Get good grades, then find a safe, secure job with benefits." This is the advice that most parents give their children, isn't it, nah? He strongly believed in the safety of climbing the corporate ladder. He also thought that owning a house was the biggest and best investment one could make. Rich Dad, on the other hand, sang a completely different tune, a more liberating one. He famously said, "The rich don't work for money. That's what the poor and middle class do." Instead, he taught, "They make money work hard for them." He educated Robert about the critical difference between assets and liabilities. He showed him the practical ways to build businesses from scratch. He taught him how to invest intelligently and create sustainable wealth. This was a completely different path, a revolutionary path, to achieving financial success and freedom. Today is June 1st, 2025. And let me tell you something very important. These lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad are more critical today than they have ever been before. The world around us is changing so incredibly fast, isn't it? The job market is not as secure or predictable as it once was. Traditional pensions are becoming a thing of the past for many. You simply cannot afford to rely solely on the old, outdated advice anymore. The book Rich Dad, Poor Dad empowers you. It gives you the mental tools to think differently about your financial life. It strongly encourages you to take active control of your financial future. This is not a drill, my friends. This is not a practice run. This is your actual financial life we are discussing here. It is absolutely time for you to get serious about it. The principles in this book are timeless and they apply to everyone, everywhere, including right here in India. Poor Dad's prevailing mindset was unfortunately one of scarcity and limitation. He often used to say the words, "I can't afford it." Now, you must understand that this particular statement effectively shuts down your brain. It stops you cold from thinking creatively about solutions or possibilities. He placed an extremely high value on job security, almost above all else. For him, a steady, reliable paycheck was the ultimate holy grail of financial life. He firmly believed in working incredibly hard for the company he was employed by. He genuinely thought that this was the only respectable way to earn a living. He also viewed his family home as his primary and most significant asset. He spent a large portion of his life diligently paying off debts. This, my friends, is the very definition of the financial trap that so many people unknowingly fall into. Kiyosaki aptly calls this the rat race. They work, they earn, they pay bills, and then they repeat this cycle endlessly. Is this truly the kind of financial life that you desire for yourself? Now, let us contrast this with Rich Dad, who possessed an abundance mindset. When he was faced with something expensive that he desired, he approached it very differently. He would not say, "I can't afford it." Instead, he would ask himself a powerful question: how can I afford it? This simple shift in questioning opens up your mind significantly. It compels you to think, to strategize, and to find innovative solutions. He consistently focused on acquiring true assets. And what are assets? Assets are things that put money into your pocket, not things that take money out. He clearly understood that your personal residence, the house you live in, is very often a liability, especially in the beginning. He passionately taught the paramount importance of financial literacy. This means truly knowing how money really works, not just how to earn it. This understanding is the absolute foundation upon which all wealth is built. You absolutely must learn this critical distinction. The most crucial, game-changing difference between the two dads was this. Poor Dad worked tirelessly for money. His entire financial life revolved around earning that next salary. Rich Dad, however, had a different approach. He made money work hard for him. He achieved this by building efficient systems, creating profitable businesses, and making smart investments. These financial vehicles generated income for him consistently, even when he was not actively working. This is the key to breaking free. Poor Dad advised saving money diligently, usually in a traditional bank account. But banks, as you know, pay very little interest these days, often not even keeping up with inflation. Rich Dad, conversely, advised investing money wisely and strategically. He wanted his money to be a productive employee, making more money for him. Poor Dad was often very fearful of financial risks. Rich Dad, however, understood how to intelligently manage those risks. He knew that avoiding all risks in investing was, in itself, the biggest financial risk of all. These profoundly different mindsets inevitably led to vastly different life outcomes. Poor Dad, despite his high level of education and professional qualifications, was almost always worried about paying his bills. He was well and truly stuck in the rat race, as Kiyosaki described it. He found himself working harder and harder, getting occasional small raises, but never achieving true financial freedom. His life choices were severely limited by his ongoing financial situation. He could not just decide to quit his job if he wanted to. Rich Dad, on the other hand, successfully achieved complete financial freedom. Money was no longer his master, it was his servant. He had abundant choices. He could choose to work if he enjoyed it, or choose not to work at all. He had the freedom to pursue his passions and interests. This, my dear friends, is what genuine financial independence gives you. It gives you the power to design and live your own life on your own terms. Don't you want that kind of incredible freedom? Of course you do. Everyone does. Just take a moment and think back to your own school days. What exactly did they teach you about money management? If your experience is like most people's, the answer is probably not very much, if anything at all. Our traditional education system, while valuable in many respects, primarily focuses on academic subjects and professional skills. This is important, yes, we all agree on that. But it largely and unfortunately ignores practical, real-world financial education. This is a huge, glaring gap in our learning, a massive oversight with serious consequences. Schools are very good at teaching you how to get a job and earn a regular paycheck. They are designed to prepare you to be a good and reliable employee. However, they generally do not teach you how to manage that hard-earned paycheck effectively, nor do they teach you how to make that money grow and multiply over time. They simply don't teach you about investing, about acquiring assets, or about the strategies for creating sustainable wealth. Why is that, you might wonder? It is often because the system is fundamentally designed to create workers, not necessarily owners or independent financial thinkers. Because of this widespread lack of financial education, a great many people struggle financially throughout their lives. This includes even very smart, highly paid professionals who earn substantial incomes. They might make good money month after month, but they find themselves drowning in a sea of debt. Many of them live paycheck to paycheck, always just one emergency away from a crisis. They often make poor investment choices, or worse, they make no investments at all, simply out of fear or ignorance. They are, in effect, financially illiterate, despite their other qualifications. They tend to follow Poor Dad's traditional advice because that is all they have ever been taught. They naturally fear what they do not understand, and money is a big unknown for them. They don't truly grasp the concept of cash flow. They can't clearly distinguish between income-generating assets and money-draining liabilities. This financial ignorance costs them dearly in the long run. It effectively keeps them from achieving true financial security and peace of mind. It is a debilitating cycle that absolutely needs to be broken. And the good news is, you have the power to break it. So, what is the practical solution to this educational gap? You must take personal responsibility for your own financial education. You absolutely cannot afford to sit back and wait for the school systems to change. That might take generations. You have to be proactive and take charge of your learning right now. Start by reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There are countless other excellent books on personal finance and investing available too. You can attend financial seminars, listen to informative podcasts, and watch educational videos online. Make an effort to learn from people who have already achieved the financial success that you aspire to. If possible, try to find a mentor, someone who genuinely understands money, investing, and wealth creation, and is willing to guide you. Financial literacy is not some kind of rocket science, despite what some might want you to believe. It is primarily about understanding basic fundamental principles. It is a skill, and like any other skill, it can be learned and mastered with consistent effort and unwavering dedication. Here in India, we place an immense value on education, which is truly a wonderful cultural strength. We consistently push our children to excel academically. We encourage them to become doctors, engineers, CAs, and other respected professionals. But we absolutely must add practical financial wisdom to this educational focus. Our young people, the future of our nation, need to learn not just how to earn a good income. They critically need to learn how to build sustainable wealth over their lifetimes. They need to understand how to invest their money smartly and safely. They need to learn how to make their money grow and work for them, around the clock. This will not only secure their own financial futures but will also contribute significantly to our country's overall economic prosperity. Just imagine a new generation of financially savvy and empowered Indians. That would be an incredibly powerful force for positive change, nah? It is high time we collectively made financial literacy a top priority for everyone in our society, both young and old. Rich Dad had a very simple, yet incredibly profound way of defining assets and liabilities. You need to listen very closely to this because it is a game changer. An asset, he taught, is something that puts money into your pocket. It is something that generates income for you, consistently. A liability, on the other hand, is something that takes money out of your pocket. It is something that costs you money to own or maintain. Now, many people mistakenly believe that their family home is their biggest and most valuable asset. But Rich Dad strongly disagreed with this common perception, especially for a primary residence. He argued that if your home is just the place where you live, and you are constantly paying the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and upkeep costs, then it is actively taking money out of your pocket each month. In that specific scenario, it functions more like a liability, not an income-generating asset. An asset, by contrast, would be something like a rental property that provides you with monthly rental income. Do you clearly understand this crucial difference now? It is fundamental. So the primary financial goal, according to Rich Dad, is to acquire assets. You want to accumulate assets that work diligently for you, day and night, even while you are sleeping. Rich Dad taught Robert about various types of income-generating assets. Rental real estate, like owning flats or commercial properties that you rent out, is one very powerful example. Stocks that pay regular dividends are another excellent way to build an asset column. Bonds can also provide a steady stream of income, often with lower risk. Beyond these, you can also focus on building your own business. Ideally, a business that can eventually run and generate profits without your constant hands-on presence every single day. The ultimate aim of all this activity is to create multiple streams of passive income. Passive income is money that flows into your bank account regularly, without you having to actively trade your precious time for it directly. This, my friends, is the pathway to achieving true financial freedom. This is what the genuinely rich focus on acquiring, not just a bigger paycheck from their job. Alright, so how do you actually start on this important path towards achieving financial independence? First things first, you need to get brutally honest with yourself about your money. You must clearly understand your current financial situation. Where is all your money going each month? Start by meticulously tracking all your expenses for a while. Then, create a realistic budget. This means a budget that you can actually stick to, not some fantasy plan. Identify and ruthlessly cut down on all unnecessary spending. You'll be surprised how much you find. Then, implement the most important habit of all. Pay yourself first. Before you pay any bills, before you buy groceries, set aside a portion of every single paycheck for savings and investments. Even if it's just a small amount to begin with, the habit is what matters. Continuously educate yourself about money. Learn about different investment options available to you. Don't be afraid to start small, learn as you go, and above all, be incredibly consistent. Consistency truly is your financial superpower here. The powerful lessons from Rich Dad Poor Dad are essentially a strong call to action. They are a clear call for you to fundamentally change your thinking about money. You absolutely must challenge the conventional, often outdated beliefs about money that you probably grew up with. The old advice of study hard, get a good job, save your money, and buy a house is simply not enough anymore in today's complex world. You need to become financially literate. It is no longer optional. You need to learn the art and science of investing your money wisely. You need to shift your focus towards building a strong portfolio of assets that consistently generate passive income for you. Take firm control of your financial future. No one else will do it for you. Make smart, informed decisions every single day. Remember, it is your life, and you deserve to live it well. This journey is not about trying to get rich quickly. It is about systematically building sustainable wealth over time, so you can live life entirely on your own terms. You can absolutely do this. I know you can.